The Cleveland Cavaliers are on a 72-win pace right now with a great offense and defense. The team is the real deal. Early into the season, I was skeptical on the Cavaliers given their lack of a true superstar and where they ended the season last year. But we're now 31 games into the season and they've still only lost 4 games. That's a large enough sample size to call it. I don't think there's anything fluky going on in Cleveland, and the stats agree. The Cavs have the best offensive rating in basketball, scoring 121.9 points per game and an 8th rated defense to boot, which has ultimately given the Cavaliers the 2nd best net rating in the NBA, outscoring their opponents by plus 11.8 points per game. But out of those numbers, the rating for the best offense in the NBA is what makes them the hardest to beat. The Cavaliers' offense is incredibly effective because of their unique combination of size and skill. Their approach of a double big lineup with Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley is what makes them so unique. The NBA's evolution is dictated by which team wins the championship, and with how the Celtics steamed through the playoffs last season by shooting a heavy dosage of 3-pointers, a lot of the NBA has followed suit, upping their attempts from distance. One of the ways teams have been doing this is turning their bigs into 3-point threats by using pick and pops for open looks from deep. However, the Cavaliers are playing the kind of basketball that was played in the middle of the last decade, with 2 bigs that dive hard off of screens right to the basket. And on any given night, either big could have a breakout game, with Jarrett Allen being a great finisher at the rim and Evan Mobley being able to stretch the floor a little more due to his jump shooting. But that's not the only advantage that the double big lineup gives the Cavaliers. In today's NBA, most defenses are built to guard the perimeter and switch everything. The Cavs break that mold because their bigs are too strong and skilled for teams to switch defenders effectively. If you try, their big men will dominate mismatches and punish you in the paint. This forces teams to play them straight up, which then gives advantage to the guards. Cleveland have 2 elite on-ball creators in Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. Both Mitchell and Garland are super quick with the ball in hand, making it difficult for even the best defenders in the league to stay in front of them. They can drive past defenders, create space, and break down the defense consistently. When playing teams like Denver, who lack elite perimeter stoppers, the Cleveland guards are able to get into the paint at will, forcing help and rotations. Once the defense collapses, Cleveland surrounds this core with shooters who can spread the floor. That makes it nearly impossible to stop them. If you focus on the bigs, the guards will beat you. If you collapse on the guards, the shooters will make you pay, or they can hit the rolling big for an easy paint look. Additionally, players like Karis LeVert add versatility, helping to lead the 8th best bench in the NBA when it comes to scoring the basketball, as he can also attack off the dribble, giving the Cavs even more options. With their size, shooting, and dynamic guard play, Cleveland's offense is an absolute nightmare to try and defend. Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland have found a way to coexist after a rocky start as a duo, which was largely due to injuries limiting time to build chemistry together. But now that they're both finally healthy, they're playing as a unit. Not only is it now not just the Donovan Mitchell show, but if anything, the numbers point to Garland being the top contributor to their elite offense. In the time when just Garland or Mitchell is on the floor with the other on the bench, the offensive ratings are not what you would think, especially if you haven't seen the Cavs play this season. When it's just Mitchell on the floor, the Cavaliers have an offensive rating of 116.8 points, which is still great. However, when Garland is the lone distributor, Cleveland have an all-time great offensive system, boasting an offensive rating of 129.9 points per game. So for people to say that Darius Garland isn't a real contributor and is just riding the wave of Donovan Mitchell, that's simply not true. Both Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland are capable to be the guy to step up on any given night, giving the other a chance to take a step back, and the Cavs coaching staff have taken full advantage of this. For example, in their back-to-back against Golden State and the Lakers, their ability to have either guy lead the scoring was put on full display. On the first night at the Warriors, it was Garland who took over, putting up 25 points, 8 assists, and 2 steals on 58% shooting, while on night 2 in LA, it was Donovan Mitchell, as he put up 26 points on 40% shooting, while Garland became the playmaker, dishing out 14 assists. But not only do they have this versatility with their guards, but also their big men. Allen and Mobley perfectly fine with playing each other or separate. This has proven to be a real weapon also. Many people don't see Jared Allen in the same offensive light as Mobley, but the truth is he's a more than capable scorer also. Against the Lakers, he put up 27 points, 14 rebounds and 3 blocks on 86% shooting, completely dominating one of the best defenders in the NBA for his position. Having multiple guys who can play the same role while also being able to coexist with each other is so valuable, because if one's struggling to shoot, the others can step up for them. But perhaps what's the most impactful part is how they stagger their minutes in a game. The Cavs will start games with all 4 out there, but then they'll sub out 1 big and 1 guard, keeping at least 1 pairing on the floor at all times. They often go with Mobley and Mitchell and then switch them out for Garland and Allen, or vice versa. Being able to have an elite 2-man combination on the court at all times is so unbelievably dangerous, and is a huge factor as to why they have the league's best offense. But what this has also allowed them to do is keep their minutes of their best players down to a minimum. Over this back-to-back stretch, Garland played just 29 minutes on the first night and 32 minutes on the second night, which is both low minutes, while the same could be said for the others, who also saw drastically lower minutes than you would expect. Mitchell played 32 and 27, Allen played 31 and 25, while Mobley played 32 and 25. A lot of teams would have to go close to 40 minutes with their best players to pull out wins like these, which then contributes to fatigue and injuries down the stretch. But with the Cavs not having to do this, they're going to be a lot more fresh than other teams come the postseason, potentially giving them a massive advantage over teams who had to battle harder to get to where they are. But it's the wild card that the Cavaliers have that's arguably going to be their biggest advantage come postseason, and that wild card is the level of play we've seen out of Evan Mobley. Mobley has absolutely turned his offensive game around, becoming a real contributor on that side of the floor. And to see what I mean, let's take a closer look. Offensively is where his development has really taken place, as this was not a play he was making last season, getting right through the chest of Kessler for a poster slam. Cleveland's offense certainly looks a lot better with Mobley making threes, as here Garland gets into the paint where he's then doubled and Mobley makes the defense pay for that decision. On the season, he's providing great floor spacing with a mark of 43% shooting from deep on 2.5 attempts per game, here making another. Because of this added shooting, they can run plays like these, here using both bigs in a screen and roll action, and because Darius loses his defender, Draymond Green has to step up to not allow Allen to roll, leaving Mobley in a lane by himself where he's able to knock down a 3. But he's also been good in the mid-range off the dribble, here completely losing Rui Hachimura with a tough fake to get right to the basket for 2. This is a move he would not have made last season, getting right to the basket where he patiently pivots to create the angle needed to bank it off the glass. This is so good, as Mitchell gets doubled and the Jazz defense loses sight of Mobley, so he makes the catch in the middle of the floor and finishes with the hook. Now off ball again, he makes a perfectly timed cut, and even though he misses, that's still a great action. I also liked this play a lot where he came to a 2-foot jump stop, and here he could have made the pass out to the corner for Max Strus, but instead gets fouled. Here with Allen stuck under the basket with 3 bigs around him, Mobley makes an unreal play, coming out of nowhere for the putback slam. If he could finish off plays like these, this would put him on a whole nother level. Here just barely coming up short on the Euro finish. But it isn't just what he's doing scoring-wise offensively that's so huge for Cleveland, but it's also his playmaking. Here off the Sexton turnover, he's able to smartly use a hit-ahead pass for Tyson, who gets the fast break finish. Then moments later, he does it again, this time off the rebound as he hits Tyson once more in transition for another easy finish. Having your big making plays like these is just easy offense. Here making a great read off the catch to hit the open Sam Merrill in the corner for 3. This is another smart read, as once he's doubled, he instantly finds the open Niang for the open dribble. So when you combine these newfound abilities to what he's already great at, which is defense, you've got a real player on your hands. Mobley has active hands in the passing lanes, here saving what would have been an open lane for LeBron James. But it's the shot blocking that's been the most impactful, here barely having to leave his feet to block Hachimura. Evan Mobley is a perfect piece to the Cavs' defensive puzzle, as even if you get past one big, you have to deal with the other. And here, the other was Mobley, forcing a miss. This clip is just Evan Mobley in a nutshell. First coming up with a block on a jump shot on one end, to then run the floor, beating his opponent back to the basket for an open slam. He's already such a good player, but there is still room for improvement, and that area area is working in traffic, as teams have had some success when they are able to pressure him either off that first dribble or off the catch, forcing him into a bad shot or a turnover on many occasions. But with how quickly he's developed after only one season, I'm confident that he's going to work on this as his career goes on to become much better in those kinds of situations. I think he's going to be a vital piece for the Cavaliers moving forward, and for the team to win a championship, I believe he has to be playing his best basketball to make that happen, as he not only makes life miserable for opposing offenses, but he also unlocks a lot of what the Cavaliers do offensively as well. But these are just my takes. Do you guys think the Cleveland Cavaliers are the real deal and ready to compete for an NBA championship this season? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments section below.